So I'm going to go over, well, let me start with this. This is the idea. So we sit here waiting for the second coming, which is the blessed hope of the Christian faith. The end of history is Jesus' second coming. That's what the book of Revelation shows. The finishing up of history and the restoration to the Edenic state. Now, here there was prophecy that foretold the coming of Jesus. It's imminent. It's imminent in the New Testament text. If you don't understand, much of the New Testament is written as being a witness to that fact in the Gospels. The language that's used about Jesus to demonstrate that he was the Messiah predicted by the Hebrew Scriptures, for the Jew first, then to the Greek. If you don't understand that sort of context, you're missing so much. But I want to show this picture. We have this Daniel 2 timeline proved out. Daniel written about 605 BC. The four kingdoms that are spoken of there in the statue. Then we have the Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire. And then we have kind of the papacy until 1798. Okay, the beginning of the European Union. Now, think of here, just consider this. There's creation, there's to our current day. This preterist view, which denies the resurrection from the dead, by the way, which would be unprecedented considering the earliest creeds in all of Christian history, affirms the resurrection from the dead at Jesus' second coming. And I'm not going to get into that, but if preterist is true, that's it. Time of the end was in the first century. This is the new, congratulations, this is the new heavens and the new earth. The resurrection has nothing to do with the literal resurrection, even though 1 Corinthians 15 demonstrates that that's false. In fact, it's a false faith if we're not physically resurrected. But now, that first section is the time period from when Daniel wrote to when Jesus showed up. That is about 600 years. So, does none of prophecy teach that history from Jesus' day until whenever Jesus comes back isn't in prophecy? This is futurism over here on the right. Just nothing to be said about all of history. And then it's all literal time periods that are 3.5 years literal. Even though all the prophecies about the four kingdoms span over 600 years, and that the 70 weeks of Daniel are 490 years. Now we have the 1260 and etc. spoken of this, the time of this fourth kingdom and the details describing that. Did you know the Roman Church, if we take the 1260, which is the 3.5 years or 42 months or 1260 days, like the 70 weeks or 490 days, which mean days equal years, the woman riding the beast would be the woman riding the fourth beast, which is Rome. And it just so happens a church who, if you're not a Catholic, you understand they are a false church, which blended with the Roman Empire at its close and became the Roman Church. And the Roman Church had civil power for exactly 1260 years, historically. So the fourth kingdom, and then we see it change. Then we see a woman riding the beast, and it's a harlot woman riding the fourth beast, which is Rome, no one doubts. And she has civil power, which is a no-no for the church, for exactly 1260 years, from 538 to 1798. That's exactly 1260 years that the Pope had civil power. Or none of that's true, even though the church becomes Roman. And if you're not a Catholic, you'd have to say, yeah, it's a harlot church. Because if it wasn't a harlot church, then it would be the true church, and you would be a Catholic. That church, which merged with the Roman Empire, and Jesus' prediction were days equaling a year, and the 1260, which is also called the 3.5 years, which is 1260 days, had that civil power when it merged with Rome from 538 to 1798, and killed people who didn't agree with it. Killed people who said, I don't think the Pope is the representative of Jesus on earth, which I must go through to be saved, and do their sacraments and believe what they say, no matter what, to be saved, because they have the keys to the kingdom. The woman is God's bride. A harlot woman is a church that's a harlot and not a virgin. That's the typology there. It's fornication, spiritual fornication. That church, which killed heretics and said you couldn't be saved outside of their church, became the Roman church and then merged with civil power, the world empire, and killed people and had civil power for exactly 1260 years. And then we're told in Revelation the deadly head wound would be healed of that entity. And that entity is said to change God's times and laws. Or maybe that's all just a coincidence, and it's all crammed into the end in the future in this 3.5 year period of literal 3.5 years, even though all of prophecy is talking about hundreds of years and stretches of empires, one after the other. But maybe it just switches to something else, and all that's a coincidence, and you people need to read books.